Jonte pantalone, jonte pantalone, jonte pantalone, like, subscribe, goodbye. So, what do Megatron and Adolf Hitler have in common? Turns out it's exceedingly difficult to find a decent action figure of either. Starting back with his original toy, Megatron has had some pish poor figures over the years. I vividly remember being gifted G1 Megatron from my old boy when I was a wee fella, and as soon as I opened that box, my disappointment was immeasurable and my day was well and truly ruined. Look at this rickety, wide hipped, skinny legged, T Rex armed state. Could his trigger be in a more unfortunate location? This is what Starscream was pulling every time he used Megatron in gun mode. It makes it oddly sexual, doesn't it? Starscream just tugging on Daddy Megatron's firm little trigger to make his long, firm barrel erupt with hot, arcing ropes of purple plasma. Most of Megatron's issues stem from his ever-changing alt modes. Unlike his nemesis, Optimus Prime, who's always been a red and blue truck, Megatron has had to adapt over the decades, like Kylie. Despite our seemingly more woke times, Megatron is quite cruelly no longer allowed to identify as a gun. This has led to the Decepticon despot mostly being depicted as some kind of tank in most subsequent continuities. After all, it is well known that a gun on treads has been scientifically proven not to corrupt children's impressionable minds. Anyway, regardless of all this alt mode controversy, what G1 Megatron should you get for your CHUG collection? Well, I'm glad you asked, my friend, because that's what we're going to look at today. Welcome to the Megatron Special, my friends.
CHUG Megatron!
As of the time of making this video, the CHUG Megatron mold is surprisingly still the most recent mainline G1 incarnation of the bucket-headed mechanical menace. That's quite an embarrassing state of affairs. This mold is absolute personification of the term mid. CHUG Megatron is okay, but he's so bland and unexceptional. He's like the toy equivalent of Sam Worthington. You know, the guy who was in every movie in the 2010s before folk eventually realised he had as much personality as a benign anal polyp. Robot mode is okay, but it doesn't really capture the essence of G1 Megatron. CHUG Megatron comes across as being too chunky, which isn't helped by this big, unsightly hunchback of tank treads. Oh, but this wee gun that comes with Soundwave plugs in here and makes it look so much more G1 accurate. Does it fuck? Like a mad old fella who's drunk a litre bottle of vodka down the bookies on a dare, Megatron struggles to stand. This is due to him being rather back heavy and his stupid feats. Megatron's ankle tilts are straight up broken and his heels will pop off from the draft generated by one of Vanessa Feltz's more modest queefs. The tank mode doesn't fare too well either. It's your classic space tank, which is an easy excuse to say it doesn't really look like anything. The Earthrise versions of the mold do look a bit more like an actual tank, but they also rely on this big bit of parts forming kibble, which I think is as inexcusable as Harvey Weinstein's casting process for young female actresses. This mould is very much showing its age. It's been reused more times than the communal Johnny in a Victorian brothel. I'm sick of CHUG Megatron. I'm sick of his stupid parts forming to make his alt mode. I'm sick of this stupid fucking sword. When has Megatron ever used a bloody sword? Please, Hasbro, just let this mold die. This mold is like that fucked up dog from The Fly 2 that makes me cry every time I watch it. Put it out of its misery, you fucking evil bastards. So perhaps we must travel further back to the past to find a decent tank Megatron. Join me, my friends, as we travel back to a time when everyone was actually excited about Disney Star Wars instead of complaining about how bloody woke it is. Let's be brutally honest, George Lucas already nuked the Star Wars franchise by shitting out whatever the fuck Jar Jar Binks was. So I don't think a couple of lesbian Jedis matter all that much. Plus, I am very aroused by the thought of lesbian Jedi porn. Yeah, Janet, use the Force to open up Stacy's butthole like the entrance to a swamp cave in Dagobah and plug it right up with that lightsaber dildo. We're going back to 2015. That's a bloody decade ago. I feel fucking so old.
Combiner Wars Megatron!
This is more like it. This Megatron is beautiful. Look at this shiny metallic decal. It's stunning and makes quite a difference from Hasbro's usual Games Workshop grey. Oh, we'll get to you soon, Titans Return Megatron. This head sculpt is also more G1 accurate than the Siege mold, while also giving off a slight handsome Squidward vibe. It also features some awesome demonic red light piping on par with Netflix Soundwave. Nice! Check out this lovely wee belly panel with all these charmingly picked out red and blue buttons. Very similar to fellow space Nazi Darth Vader. What do you think these buttons do? Wouldn't it be great if pressing the blue button played the Witch Doctor by the cartoons and it was Megatron's biggest secret? I also love the way the tank treads are incorporated into the leg design. Take note, Studio Series 86 Megatron, since it has been confirmed you're also going to be a tank, just like you weren't in the movie. It's not all good, however. Like Siege Megatron, there's a big old backpack to contend with. You've got a few options on how to display this tank tread rucksack, but they're all fairly intrusive and hamper Megatron's waist rotation. What is going on with these shoulders as well? Megatron's arms are attached by these red sticks that just jut out halfway down his chest. I know this is a alien space robot, and I don't want to body shame, but this looks weird as shit. I'm also not sold on the fusion cannon. It's great that it's integrated into Megatron's arm, so there's no need for the usual parts forming, but which way is this meant to face? You either have a skinny barrel and a chubby top, or a chubby barrel and a skinny top. Neither is ideal, and overall it reminds me of the descriptions victims gave of Jeffrey Epstein's wacky penis. Posing Combiner Wars Megatron is also weird. The articulation points you'd want are here, but due to some over-tight and limited ratchet joints, getting a decent pose at this fella is more difficult than disposing of a dead hooker you've let decompose in the bath for a couple of weeks. Eventually the flesh melts off, chunks and turns into rancid black goop that blocks the drain. Best thing to do at that point is a powerful hydrochloric acid. Just make sure that no big chunks go down the drain so you get caught like Dennis Nielsen. This Megatron is also bloody huge, so he doesn't really scale with anything apart from the equally comically big Titans Return Optimus Prime. These two make for a nice couple, like Giant Gonzalez and Brienne of Tarth. Transformation in Combiner Wars Megatron is pleasantly simple and rather satisfying. This tank is pretty bloody epic. I'd go far to say that this is the best looking Transformers tank ever. It's definitely better than Legacy United Quake for sure. The level of greebly detail here is quite impressive, with all these flappy things and that. Plus the tank has working rubber treads. I can really see why the Roboson Megatron took a lot of design cues from this. This is a mini version of him, except Combiner Wars Megatron shouldn't set you back the cost of a second-hand 2009 Honda Civic. Oh, and you have to transform him yourself, if you can manage that, you big dick.
Titans Returns Megatron!
So, the mainline follow-up to Combiner Wars Megatron was Titans Returns Blitzwing? Megatron. Or do I? You see, this particular version of Megatron is what you call a pre-tool. Another one of Hasbro's dastardly schemes to make more cold hard cash out of addicts like you and me. This is obviously meant to be a Blitzwing toy. All of Blitzwing's hallmarks are here. Backwings? Check. Tank and jet alt modes? Check. Headmaster gimmick? Check. Wait, what? The thinking behind this practice is that us schmucks will not be able to resist a new Megatron or Optimus, so we'll lap up anything Hasbro sloppily farts out, whether or not any effort has been put in at all. You can also see this with Titans Return Laser Optimus and Octane. Same. You sicken me sometimes, Hasbro. Oh, you're going to re-release Siege Prowl? Oh, how kind and benevolent you are. It doesn't matter that everyone wants the notoriously hard to find Earthrise version that you decided to release in a 2-pack that was harder to find than Amelia Earhart's Travel Merkin. No doubt Earthrise Prowl will soon be reissued in a bloody $6,000 50-pack along with 49 repaints of Siege Sideswipe. Thank you so much, Hasbro. They're fucking trolling us at this point, aren't they? Anyway, regardless of shady business practices, how is this toy? He's pretty good actually. I mean, he's pig ugly. Like an old guy's dick and balls ugly. This shade of grey just looks plain unfinished. It's dull and boring, and it just swallows up all the wee sculpted details. This is especially egregious on Megatron's shite wee Titan Master Doomshot. Doomshit more like. He's rocking precisely 0 paint, and the Megatron head sculpt is just lost in this encompassing void of depressing grey. This is the head sculpt version of a liminal space. All the features are familiar, but indistinct and hazy, never quite amounting to an actual recognisable face. I instantly want to not be looking at this when I'm looking at it. What exactly is going on with this half a fusion cannon as well? Megatron originally came with another wee hollow piece that was meant to go in the end here, but again it was in that horrible, depressing, soul-crushing grey. I got this fella second hand without it, but I don't think I'm missing much. I think I'd have chucked it in the bin anyways. With all that being said, I actually do like this figure. He's good fun to mess about with. He's got decent posability and a really fun transformation. The jet mode is especially awesome. This is far more convincing than what Legacy Blitzwing managed. I'd recommend this fella in a heartbeat if he just looked a little less fucking dull. I mean, look at this render of how he could have looked with metallic paint. This is awesome. It's a real shame he turned out like this. It's like seeing the potential of Corey Feldman in the Goonies versus watching Corey Feldman's latest gig. So that's the last 3 mainline G1 Megatrons. Not the best, I'm sure you'll agree. I don't know if I can truly recommend any of them. Poor show, Hasbro. Poor show. I fear we must leave the warm, comforting bosom of the official mainline behind and venture into the dangerous, unknown waters of third party. There be monsters here, me lad.
Dr. Wu, Menace King.
Now this is more like it. This screams G1 Megatron. The body shape and the proportions are bang on. The head sculpt is packed full of character and is suitably aggressively grumpy. And there's hardly any kibble outside of this wee arm flap. Dr. Wu has once again given us a top-tier representation of a G1 character. This is right up there with their Bumblebee and Ultra Magnus, and has perhaps become my favourite figure Dr. Wu has produced. What an achievement! Especially when you consider this fella is roughly the same size as a shrew's partially engorged penis. That's the only problem with Dr. Wu's Menace King. He's just too teeny tiny for a CHUG collection. But if you're just looking for a wee angry robot dictator, this is an essential pickup. Check him out with some other Doctor Wu Decepticons and this third-party legend-scale Devastator. This looks fucking sweet, doesn't it? Let's put them up against some Doctor Wu Autobots and Fort Max. Yes! I don't know where he got his undergraduate degree, or even what university would give out a doctorate in the art of making tiny transforming robots, but Dr. Wu has easily become my favourite third-party company. Look at this wee ghost Starscream! Hee! So, why even include this fella on a G1 CHUG Megatron list? Well, it's because Menace King transforms into this adorable gun that pairs perfectly with Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. This transformation is sheer witchcraft. Not only does this wee pew pew look delightful, the process of getting Menace King into this form is intuitive, simple, and takes seconds, unlike the last fella in this list. If this wee guy was scaled up with a little extra articulation and detail, he would undoubtedly be my favourite Megatron toy. You wouldn't even need that much. This tiny fella can strike a better pose than Combiner Wars. He's far more balanced than the Siege mould, and this grey doesn't make me want to gouge my eyes out, unlike Titan's Return. Despite his diminutive stature, Menace King destroys the mainline offerings, not because he's a gun, but because he's so much more fun. The question still remains though, what is the best Megatron for your CHUG collection? There is only one more Megatron to look at today, and despite a few niggles, I think he's unquestionably the absolute best option. My word, look at this guy. There's no doubt who this is meant to be. New Age Romulus doesn't have an unsightly backpack, he's perfectly proportioned, and he's not a bloody Blitzwing pre-tool. This is G1 Megatron ripped directly from the cartoon. He looks just about perfect. This head sculpt perfectly captures Megatron's sneering confidence and lust for power. If you're not a fan, Romulus even comes with replacement faceplates so he can do a maniacal laugh or even look bored of Starscream's shit. This one is definitely my favourite though. This expression captures Megatron's character far better than anything else we've looked at today. That's what Romulus excels at, capturing Megatron's character. Whilst not being skinny, Romulus has such a clean silhouette and the perfect amount of articulation to capture some truly maniacal poses. This even beats the non-transforming Megatron figures I've seen. I'm looking at you, R.E.D. Megatron. Ugh. New Age have absolutely knocked this out the park. The only small complaint I have has nothing to do with the looks of this toy, rather it's how it feels to mess about with. Due to the complexity of this fella, he feels a little less solid than your standard mainline tat. This ab crunch, for example, is quite loose, while the other joints like these shapely legs are ultra tight. I'm also not a fan of these detaching hands. They only detach for the purpose of attaching this admittedly stunning Energon mace. The hands do have a habit though of popping off a little too easily. Given that they're small and black, if they fall on the floor, my old fucked up eyes struggle to find them. It's a similar story with this big back pipe. This loves to fall off with the slightest provocation. Meh, these are the nittiest of nitpicks. Romulus is pretty top tier in robot mode. He just requires a little bit more patience, which I understand may be difficult for someone with the attention span of a goldfish with dementia like yourself. Transformation is very complex, however, it's actually rather intuitive once you get the arms in the right position. The only step that gave me any issues were these panels on the biceps. These need to open to detach the arms from the body, but Jesus, they're tighter than a rat's arsehole. You'll definitely need some kind of spudger to pry these open. Apart from that, I managed to do the whole transformation without instructions. It did take about an hour, and there was some swearing, shouting, and frustrated crying involved, but I did manage it. So, when you're done, you've got this perfect Walther P-38. Wow, how good is this? It's truly unbelievable that such an accurate and articulated robot can transform into this very realistic handgun. Just be careful though. If you were to go outside with this in America, you'd definitely get shot by the black cop from Die Hard. I'm really a bit conflicted about having Megatron turn into something this problematic, especially since, unlike the Doctor Wu, this is life-sized and perfectly proportioned to a grown man's hand. The purpose of this thing isn't to shoot robots, it's to kill people. So many lives are needlessly lost to these things every day, from accidents and suicides to homicides and high school shootings. The glorification of guns is unquestionably a terrible idea, especially when promoting to a young and impressionable audience. After holding this thing in my own hand, I fully understand why Hasbro decided we could no longer have gun mode Megatron. But this is just so fucking cool. This is exactly what we've all wanted since G1 Megatron, but we're told we'd never have it. Holding this makes me feel dangerous and powerful, like a real man. I can really see where the NRA are coming from. As Charlton Heston said, you can pry this gun out of my cold, dead hand. This mode feels naughty, like it should be forbidden, and that makes it all the sweeter. I fucking love this. It's a shame that the silencer and stock aren't included, but I'd pick them up in a heartbeat if New Age were to ever release them. Unquestionably then, New Age Romulus is a definitive CHUG Megatron. Just look at how he scales with dramatic capture Optimus. Perfection. What's that? What about Studio Series 86 Optimus? Romulus does come up a bit short. You get it, a little short because he's smaller. I'm fucking wasted in these bloody videos, you know that? I think potentially we may be about to have the best of both worlds. With Romulus, we have the perfect partner for Earthrise Optimus. We now have our perfect gun mode Megatron. This still leaves room though for Studio Series 86 Megatron to claim the title of Best Tank Mode Megatron and pair up with Studio Series 86 Prime. Whatever your preference, there'll be a Megatron in Prime to suit your collection. That is depending on Studio Series 86 Megatron actually being good. Knowing Hasbro's questionable business practices, Studio Series 86 Megatron will probably just be the Siege mold again, with bits to attach to his feet to make him taller. I mean, look what they did with Studio Series 86 Galvatron. Just a repaint of Kingdom Galvatron? Really? I mean, it is a stunning repaint, and I did buy it quicker than you could say. Remember Leonard Nimoy did that Bilbo Baggins song?
He lives in a hobbit hole and everybody knows him, Bilbo.
But I couldn't help but feel a pang of resentment. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for a Megatron worthy of the truly awesome Studio Series 86 Prime. Anyway, you guys have a great night. Catch you later.
Like, subscribe, and tell your dad. Like, subscribe, and tell your dad. Like, subscribe, and tell your dad.